According to Sports Pro, Caitlin Clark is the fourth most marketable athlete in the world. Yeah, not just female athlete, not just in the United States, but in the entire.
Have you noticed what Caitlin Clark did recently? She altered the terms of sponsorships rather than merely signing a contract. Not only is Clark's new $13 billion partnership innovative, but this is also when things start to become truly interesting. As Clark starts to make big changes, you won't believe the reactions of some WNBA players to this agreement, which has the potential to alter the game. Stay tuned as we explore the drama, which includes A.A. Wilson's answer, which adds women's basketball.
How? In what way? What does she sell out tens of thousands of Wilson basketballs in 40 minutes? I mean, what has A'ja Wilson done to say that she is worth every penny? And then
Wilson and High are collaborating to release Caitlin Clark basketballs in vibrant purple and yellow. The Dreamer and Tribute editions will be available for purchase in time for the holidays, making them the perfect gift for fans. This creative collaboration and striking commercials have everyone talking.
Here, they just had this go, and this is the Hy-Vee Instagram account. Again, Wilson, Caitlin Clark, really smart, very cool video, lots of smiling faces.
This $13 billion collaboration demonstrates Wilson's talent spotting abilities. But Nike made a mistake. When Wilson saw Caitlin Clark's potential early on, he made a bold and game-changing choice. Let's go back to the time when Wilson signed Clark. It was a tremendous move.
Caitlin Clark just did something nobody has done since Michael Jordan. Wilson Sporting Goods signed the WNBA star to a multi-year deal. She's the first female athlete to have her own collection with Wilson, and it will be built similar to Jordan's collection in the 1980s that included those signature basketball.
As soon as the deal was revealed, social media went bananas, and everyone was talking about Wilson's acquisition of Caitlin Clark, a game share. They took a big risk by doing something they had only ever done once with Michael Jordan himself. Wilson had recently revolutionized women's athletics.
Only athlete to have a signature basketball with Wilson other than Michael freaking Jordan. Wilson's head of global partnership said, "We haven't done a deal of this magnitude since we did one with Michael Jordan 30 to 40 years."
Following the publication of Clark's first basketball, it sold out in a matter of minutes, meaning that tens of thousands of basketballs were quickly gone. This is significant in light of Michael Jordan. I don't know of any athlete in recent memory that sells at this level, and there are the important people. Caitlin Clark is currently only the second athlete in history to purchase a Wilson basketball. Caitlin Clark is a product mover. Here is what I was talking about earlier. Caitlin Clark sells stuff. In September, she released the first Clark-inspired basketball, which sold out in less than 40 minutes. Tens of thousands of basketballs were taken up almost immediately. But Wilson isn't stopping there. They have amazing plans for Clark to see something in her that they haven't seen before. Her star power, her skill on the court, and her ability to interact with fans and generate sales are all aspects of her that Wilson is betting heavily on. And so far, it is paying off.
I don't know that I can name an athlete in recent memory that is sold at this level. And there's the key, folks. Caitlin Clark moves products. Caitlin Clark moves merchandise. And here's what I was talking about too. They mentioned it here. Where in September, Wilson dropped the first Clark-inspired basketball. It sold out in under 40 minutes. Tens of thousands of basketballs snapped up almost instantly.
In addition to changing the game on the court, Clark is also changing it in boardrooms and marketing conferences throughout the sports industry. What does this seismic shift mean for women's sports companies? How do they view female athletes? How do they market to sports fans? How do they view women's sports generally?
Shout out to Wilson. I think we all really, really appreciate what Wilson has done. They seem to be the only business, the only entity that has taken Caitlin Clark at face value for what and who she is and the opportunities that can bring. Fully, completely embraced her, been great with their marketing. Product drops. I mean, I don't even know how many different basketballs now, but they've made multiple product drops with, limited quantity. I guess you could say they're sold out right away. They keep doing.
Wilson and Clark are going to take things to the next level, and their impact on women's sports will be incredibly passive. Are you ready to see what happens next with a $13 billion alliance? This Wilson acquisition is just the beginning. Caitlin Clark recently made a big move, but here's the twist. Rather of agreeing to a personal contract, she partnered with Wilson and Hay, the massive Midwest supermarket chain, to add women's sports.
You can see here, Caitlin Clark lands $13 billion brand collab as WNBA stars bond with Wilson grows deeper. And that's the cool part, man. Shout out to Wilson.
Grows deeper. And that's the cool part, man. Wilson, you may be picturing a chain of supermarkets, but they're not your average company. Rather, they're a retail powerhouse that is putting all of its energy into Caitlin Clark. They're not just putting her name on a cereal box, though. Rather, they're creating something wholly unique and intriguing.
This is a collaboration with supermarket chain Hy-Vee. They rake in more than $13 billion annually. Huge company, just in time for...
Now comes the interesting part. Guess who's back in the mix? Hy is releasing exclusive limited edition basketballs called the Clark Dreams and tribute Wilson basketballs because they look like Clark off the court. Wilson and Hay are forming a sort of super team.
And what this is Hy-Vee has announced an exclusive, yeah, that's right, an exclusive drop of Caitlin Clark's Dreamer and Tribute Wilson basketballs. Very cool. Big deal. Good job, Wilson. You know they probably went and put this together. I mean, maybe Hy-Vee contacted Caitlin Clark first, but, you know, this is probably something, the type of thing.
However, why is this such a big problem? It concerns the implications for women's sports marketing. This kind of collaboration is groundbreaking and setting a new standard for how female athletes work with large corporations in the future. Recall that they have supported Caitlin Clark through every step of the way, proving their commitment to her journey from the start. You might remember their contribution to the Caitlin Clark Foundation while she was living in Iowa.
And get this, Hy-Vee says it's making a donation to the Caitlin Clark Foundation in honor of her record. $35,690 will be donated. In Clark's basketball career, she's scored 3,569 points to beat the old record.
In addition to signing a contract, Clark is helping to create products that tell her story. Wilson says that each ball represents a distinct stage of Clark's career, from her time at Iowa to her ascent to WNBA stardom. This makes sense because building a brand is more significant than marketing. According to Sport Pro, she was the fourth most marketable athlete in the world.
And then at number 4, Caitlin Clark, LeBron James at 3, Vinicius Jr., who is a Brazilian soccer star, and number 1 being Simone Biles. As you can see, Caitlin Clark is the only WNBA player in the top 10, and she's actually the only WNBA player in the top 20.
What implications does this have for the future? Maybe more companies will start taking risks like this, collaborating more imaginatively, and investing more in women's sports. Who knows? Maybe the next time a female athlete signs a contract, the statistics won't surprise us. Instead, we'll be expecting them.
While strengthening the partnerships she's already built. From basketballs flying off shelves to multi-million-dollar endorsements, CC is at the forefront of athlete brand.
Clark is being supported by Wilson and Hive, but what about Nike? You would think that by now they would be involved, but this is where things start to get interesting. It seems unbelievable that Nike signed Clark to a $28 million contract. But the sports giant never responded, leaving fans to wonder where the Clark shoes, jerseys, and massive marketing campaign were.
And her WNBA season has come and gone. And with that, Nike has not done one thing to promote her. We have not seen any commercials. We have not seen any ads. We have not seen any Caitlin Clark merchandise. And we for sure as hell have not seen any Caitlin Clark signature shoes. It is mind-blowing.
Given how quickly sports marketing moves and how Nike fails to capitalize on it every day, Clark's popularity isn't really a secret. Even though her jersey sales have climbed by 500%. Nike isn't selling despite Clark's star power being a day lost fans' willingness to buy.
Yeah, where is Caitlin Clark's shoe? Jersey sales skyrocketed by 500% this season. Where's the shoe, folks? Where?
Industry insiders are also perplexed, arguing that Nike should have put Clark's face on billboards launched shoe lines, and done other things instead of seemingly putting her on the bench.
Where's the shoe, folks? Where is it? Paige Becker recently landed her own signature shoe. Crappy shoe, but she got one. And yeah, you're right. Vocal. Of course. Why not? We should be vocal. Absolutely ridiculous.
Nike reportedly wants to prioritize A.A. Wilson's shoes over Caitlin Clark's. But from a marketability perspective, it is not possible because Caitlin Clark's shoes are clearly superior to A.A. Wilson's.
He reports Nike wants to prioritize A'ja Wilson, and it fears the optics of giving a rookie a signature shoe before an already established star who just won league MVP for the third time. We have talked about this multiple times on my channel. Is A'ja Wilson currently the best player in the WNBA? Yes. Is Caitlin Clark currently the face of the WNBA? Yes. Do I think if A'ja Wilson dropped a shoe and Caitlin Clark dropped a shoe today at the very same time, that Caitlin Clark would outsell A'ja's shoe by 100 times? Yes, I think that would be.
Things become really insane when Nike takes over since other companies are releasing exclusive goods while Wilson sells out basketballs in a couple of minutes. Just like everyone else, Nike acknowledges Clark's value.
It's an absolute and utter embarrassment. Nike should be shut down simply out of shame for the way they have treated Caitlin.
Although Clark is proving that women's sports can bring in a sizable sum of money, it seems that everyone is now benefiting from this with the exception of Nike. What's wrong? Is Nike, the biggest brand in women's basketball, making a huge error, or do they have knowledge that we don't?
She had the craziest momentum that we have ever seen with any athlete in the history of ever. And the fact that Nike did not capitalize on that, the fact that they are the biggest athletic sportswear brand in the world, and we didn't hear a peep out of them the entire season, it truly makes me wonder, like, if I were Caitlin Clark's management, and again, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I would be truly rethinking the deal that I signed up for.
The story isn't quite over. And in what seems to be a response to Caitlin Clark's amazing new contract, an Enviousa is in the boardroom of Nike right now. They have the sexiest basketball player, but they're not using her. It would be like owning a Ferrari and keeping it in the garage. Fans are speculating that Wilson's announcement of a 6-year contract extension with Nike is motivated by jealousy, and many are questioning whether this pact can truly compete with Clark's unmatched commercial dominance.
A'ja Wilson, Nike, agreed a 6-year contract extension after third WNBA MVP, which was, of course, one of those participation entitlement MVPs. She was awarded the MVP before the season started because of the complaint campaign that she should have gotten it the year before instead of Brianna.
There is a lot of feedback on social media. Despite the fact that some fans are rooting for Wilson, some are calling her deal a false one. The WNBA community is split on the importance of these collaborations in the developing women's basketball landscape. Thank you for seeing my video.